Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy Podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet, I'm Roy, Coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Wanderers.
And Calvin.
Coach of Calvin
It's a big episode today, boys, because I tell you what, the back line is where a lot of people start their teams. When they open
it's
up,
at the top
they
of the
start
list.
at the top.
There you go.
And good
And
old
they go from there.
Predictable Cow
Yes.
would not probably scroll down and pick anyone else. He'd start in his back line.
D1
and probably
right
just
through.
pick the most expensive player and then fill it up with all the most expensive players. But yes, we are looking at the defenders today, kicking off our 4-episode series of all the positions. So we're starting with defenders. And Cow, you're actually in charge of defenders
I'm
because
the
you
defender
are
specialist.
the expert.
Yep.
Which is you're the expert in the AFL record.
Yep.
Out Thursday, February 8. Make sure you pick up your
Yep.
copy for $9.95.
As a person that's played and coached Roy in basketball, giving him defence would have been a criminal thing to do.
Pot calling the kettle black. Surprised Warnie gave you this responsibility.
Okay.
I'm worried.
The thing is, in the back line, it's a little bit different from the other positions, I feel, because, yes, you can have some premiums. Yes, you can have some mid-price players there. And then you could even have a couple of cheap ones on the ground. Whereas our forward lines look like it's a bit thinner. Where, okay, here's an example. So, in defence, there are 11 people who averaged more than Jack McRae last year.
Wow.
That's a lot.
There's a lot there. So, there is plenty of points back there. And I still feel, even in this area, we're still trying to target those players that don't have that early round bye.
Yes.
Okay.
I think everywhere we are, though, aren't we?
Yeah. So with this, though, because the glaring one's your Nick Daicos.
Yes.
Okay. And around him, you've got some premiums that are definitely high on the radar of people that they're looking at. So like your Jack Sinclairs, your
Yes.
Wanganeen-Mileras, they're kind of players that don't have that early bye, who have enough runs on the board where you go, they're going to be good. Now, Warnie, you're a little bit concerned about those guys as far as their lack of games at Marvel.
Oh, no, I'm not really that concerned by that.
You're
However,
not concerned.
There is a stat.
There is a stat.
But, don't know. It's something that's worth considering.
Yes.
They're happier there.
They're happier there.
Yes.
But it's certainly not going to make me put a line through them.
No, I wouldn't think so.
No.
Every unaccountable halfback would be happier at Marvel, the way the ball pins around. There's just extra marks there available. But then you think, look at the open space at the G.
Yep.
We're not going to
So
miss
this
out on
is a
marks
story
there.
a little bit about defenders before we get right into them, is that we love a halfback.
Oh, yeah.
This is, we talked about it being the more midfield time, more halfback time. That's
what we want.
Like with players.
Yes.
And that's where we see a lot of these good scorers. So you talked about there, 11 players being averaging more than McRae, who is the top averaging forward available this year. So what type of players are they all? They're all ones that get marks.
Okay.
And the ball's in their hands.
They're all ones that are trying to be Nick Daicos.
Yes.
Basically.
Semi-quarterback.
Yeah.
And your Sheasel of last year,
Yes.
that sort of a role. And I guess your boy last year, Roy, Wanganeen-Milera.
Yes.
The question there is St Kilda going to have that fantasy-friendly game that we saw them have last year?
They averaged the most points.
Yes.
Or scored the most points of any club.
Now, we don't like picking a player that's coming off a breakout, but Wanganeen-Milera went up 28 points,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous, to the 92 that he's at now. But after his bye, he went at 98.
Yes.
Which makes you think he could be a 100 player.
He could be easily.
And when you consider we've only got like 300 plus players in there at the moment, he could be the fourth.
He's going to do it at some stage.
I think he will as well.
So
Takes the kick-outs, Roy.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Doesn't mind
things.
playing on. And works hard for an uncontested mark. Really hard. And they love it in his hands.
They do.
Like he ticks all boxes in that regard.
Yeah, 100%.
So your structure then, Cow,
Yeah.
what are you looking like at the moment? What sort of structure for your classic backline?
Yeah, at the moment, I think I'm with 3, what I would do, or maybe even 4 premium. And I'm counting a Hayden Young in there. I've got a Tom Stewart. I've got the 2 St Kilda boys. So I'm quite strong. My forward line, though, however, fellas, is where it's weak. Okay, chuck in the value picks of, I've got Zach Williams in there at the moment, ahead of Nick Caulfield. I'm happy to, that's a wait and see.
Yeah.
Zach Williams he plays in the opening round, so we get a free hit. It's like we're cheating, Roy.
Yes.
It's like we're cheating. Swingers round in action. So we get a free look at old Zach.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I'm happy to have Marty Hoare as a D6. I think he makes the team. I think he gets games early.
So you don't mind rounding out your backline with the likes of Hoare or Caulfield
If I needed to.
if you see something in the preseason.
On the bench, this is where we're going to be really thin
Yeah.
in defence. We'll have a look at some cash cows later, but at the moment I've got Pinky.
Yeah.
Pink Eye's there.
Yeah.
Not very confident in Pink.
No.
And the other one I've got sitting there at the moment is Daniel Curtin. Now, he should play.
He should be fine.
I don't think he's going to score a lot.
No.
That's the issue.
At quite an inflated price is also the concern.
This is why I've flirted with going Zach Williams as my D6.
Yeah, much more
because,
smarter.
Well, yeah, but I never end up there. I always end up with a rookie there just because it makes everywhere else look better. But I think this year I'm considering just being a little bit safe, and Zach Williams don't really go hand in hand, but safer and putting Zach at D6.
Yep.
All right, so Cal, name up your biggest lock that you've got in the back line. Who's the lock that everyone should have?
Mine is Hayden Young. I can't see him leaving my team. He was one of the first players I picked in. Now, the question was, is he going to get that midfield role that we saw him get at the end of last year? And it looks like it is.
Yes.
It looks 100% like it is.
Yeah.
In that role last year, he went at like 94, 95. So that was only 5 games. He did have a season high 119 in that.
Yeah.
Okay, which is very promising. He might get a few defensive jobs from time to time.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's in there,
He does tackle in there.
he
in that
loves to
role
tackle
too.
in there, Roy.
Now-
So, yeah, he's my biggest lock in there, and I cannot see him moving.
What I'm worried about there is it just contradicts everything we just spoke about because he's getting less half-back time.
I know, and in a moment, a bit later on, I'm going to talk about another guy that might have a thirst for the ball in the back line for them. But, Hayden Young, more midfield time, ticks a lot of boxes, I reckon.
Who's your lock, Roy?
It's Zach Williams, purely because he's priced at 49. He's never averaged 49 or lower in his career. I've got him penciled in for, 75 type areas.
Yep.
Obviously, like you said, we get to cheat and look at him round one, and if he looks like hitting that 75, that's going to be enough for me, regardless of having that buy, because I place him, because he's so cheap, a 49 average, he can just be covered in that 18 on his buy round. I'm not stressed about that at all. It's not like I've paid up for Nick Daicos.
So in that opening round when he plays against the Lions,
Tough game.
what does he need to score for you to go, yep, I'm in on that?
He needs to look comfortable. He needs to be being used.
So it's an eye
And
test.
it's an eye test and a 70.
Okay, he comes out, he looks good, he scores a 65.
It'll be very dependent on how Hoare and Caulfield have looked in the preseason, if that's the case.
Okay. Dog, your biggest lock?
My biggest lock is Tom Stewart. I think that he's 100 plus this year, which he would have been last year if he took out that 14.
Hang on, are you allowed to do that?
You can do that.
He finds a way. He finds a way every year.
I do like him a lot. I think he does everything. He takes plenty of marks. He plays plenty of time on ground. He takes kick-ins. All the things that you want from your defender. So I think that he hasn't moved from my team. Now, to call him a massive lock, I'm not exactly sure that he is a massive lock, but he hasn't moved, and he, I think, will be my D1.
Yeah, he just brings so much stability back there, Dog.
There was that talk about the extra midfield time. I really don't think that's
No, that's
a
not
live
happening.
thing. That was just something to be said in December, even, I think it was.
Pre-season talk. That's what that is.
He'll get to run through there, I'm telling you.
He will. And if he does, the good numbers. So he had a couple of games where he had a few CBAs there, like probably his best one out 116 points against Brisbane when he had like a whopping 53% of the CBAs. So he had that there. Got another ton when he had 26% CBAs last year. But you're not picking him because you think he's doing that.
No.
That's going to be a bonus if he's needed to.
This is the thing with him. When he does play that midfield, they look at him for that early clearance, but then he naturally floats back anyway. So all it is bonus points at his CBAs. There will never be a quarter ending if he has a CBA without him floating back.
Okay.
Like it is just bonus points when he gets in there.
I don't want to go into the scale of hardness areas this early because it's
why not?
early in the podcast.
Yeah, hit us.
If you start with Tom Stewart, you may be ranked number 1. After the first week, he plays St Kilda. And we all know what they gave up last year for defenders. I hope he's not in the midfield, Roy, because that'd be a disaster.
It would be.
But this for defenders. So he plays St Kilda and Bulldogs in the first 4 weeks, and they are the 2 mega easiest teams to play. After 4 weeks, he'll be averaging 105. In the first 6 weeks, he plays 4 teams there that are deemed as really easy, and that's Hawthorn and North Melbourne in there as well.
Wow.
So he's going to get off to a flyer.
All right, let's have a look then at who has been training with us. So someone that we may not call a lock, but's been training, Cow. Who's popped it up at training, putting their hand up, looking all right out.
Look,
burning up the track.
It's a real off-centre cow move, this one, right? And I don't know if we've even discussed this or how you guys are going to feel about it. In my team at the moment is Jordan Clark.
Really?
No, I don't mind.
Right.
Yep.
This is why. Half back, Roy.
Yes.
Young goes in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, more opportunities free up
Yeah.
in the back line for the Dockers. When Young went into the midfield in the last 5 rounds, old mate Clarkey goes on and averages 88. His last 3 scores, he goes 99, 89, 114. He averaged
114.
over 100 in his last 3 while Young was in the middle. That's going at 24 disposals and 8.5 marks a game.
Wow.
There is a person back there taking the marks that Young used to.
Yeah.
Hey, small data sample.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's popped into my training that I'm keeping an eye on over the
No, fair call
next
too. He's
few
having
games.
a really good preseason as well, and he's a proven scorer in the right role.
So
it's an interesting one,
it's an
though.
interesting
It'll be a
one.
unique pick.
Okay.
Someone training with me, and it's household name after last year, Harry Sheasel.
Oh, the Shees.
Now, ironically, not as popular as you think he would be because he's getting the dreaded more midfield time.
Yes.
So obviously, if he was locked into his half-back role, I think his ownership would be still really high. But given he's moving into the midfield, some people even fear time forward. Obviously, his points, you would think, take a hit based on that. But I'm more looking at the natural progression of an absolute jet. Yeah. And I'm not too concerned where he is on the ground. I think he's just a gun, and I think he'll probably go triple figures regardless of where he is. So he's training with
the further a player gets pushed up the ground, the worse.
That'll be the worry. The glorious position. I only play forward. No, I don't. I only play half back.
Yeah, that'll be the worry if he is half forward.
That's
what we don't want.
Then he's out of my... I'm cutting him from the training squad.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
All right, let's hope and pray that this happens, but Elliot Yeo stays fit.
Hang on.
And he only needs to stay fit, Calvin. Like we said.
I'm with you, dog.
Only needs to stay fit for... Worst case scenario, 6 weeks.
Yes.
Best case scenario, he gets us through to the bye, the mid-season bye.
Realistically, he could give us a month.
Yep.
Priced at 70.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we were keen on him last year at that price.
Were we?
If he's
Is that what he was last year?
If he's fit, that's minimum 25 under.
Think about some of the scores that he can pump out. Like he can be 90 plus without sort of a doubt.
Have you not read this story before?
Yes, but risk reward. That's what the game's all about.
Oh, I don't know.
And
you're a braver man than me.
I understand it,
Look,
but
the only concern with him is those games where, well, apart from just missing completely, but when it's worse when he goes down early in a game.
Yeah.
But there's a number of weeks there early on where we can hide behind the best 18 anyway. So you're getting some rookie on the ground scoring a 70. Yeah. That's all we paid for Yeo anyway. So if he goes down, that could cover him.
Okay.
Couldn't it?
yeah.
Okay, look, I won't cross him off just yet, but geez, I've got
He's
my pen
training.
ready. I've got my pen ready.
He's currently in my side.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He's in my team.
Oh, God.
Now, Cow, with the cash cows,
Yeah, gotcha.
we're basically saying we're not really wanting to start them on field. So Marty Hoare is just a touch above the cash cow dollar figure that we normally have, which is a 300K, which is your number one draft pick. But he's at 310. We'll call him a cash cow for the purpose of this. If he's playing, if we're picking him, he has to fill a D6 position, doesn't he?
At that price, you would think so.
So he that's where a lot of people might be looking at. If he's getting a game.
The
good thing is we get to see them in the opening round, so we'll have clarity on that to see if he's there or not, and then even if he stays in for the next week.
True.
Like he could
well, that's
suck,
important.
He could be out. But that would be one. But who else do we have? And so, Cal, you mentioned there, Dan Curtin's probably the hot player because he's the most selected of the defender rookie price players.
But that just shows how little options we have back there. So 279K. He averaged 102 in the under-18 championships. That was as a midfielder. And then he got in the All-Australian team out of that as well. So we've talked about, I don't know if we're going to get any other options where we can cut off and save ourselves 80K there, because it's a lot for a guy that isn't going to score a great deal.
Why are you so hard on his scoring potential?
Because he averaged like 80 or so in the Coates League.
I think was he WA?
Oh, he was WA.
Yep.
So
championships.
He's not that 102.
Playing a midfielder.
Yeah, was as a midfielder. He's not getting anywhere near the middle, or he's not probably even going to get that little juicy half-back role.
He'll be getting marks back there. I think he's just as good as any other.
Do you really?
Yeah, he's fine.
So 279K.
Are you confident of putting him on field, though?
No, just a good cash cow worth paying up for.
Yep, and we might have to. We talked about Toby Pink, 200K.
Is he getting a game?
I don't know. He's really scraping that. Yeah, I'm not 100% certain.
Don't think he'll start.
What about Billy Wilson? 201K?
No.
Second round
not
pick,
yet.
Wasn't he, or something like that?
Not yet. But, I mean, he does show a bit. They're very happy with the way he's going about it, but it is a tight squeeze there. And that's not even me just being stupid.
No, it is. I doubt that any blue kids will be coming through.
No.
Josh Kibgis is another one.
Yeah.
I reckon
he's back.
256.
Yep.
A couple of years in the system now. And he's had that massive hamstring injury, and he's had international work done on it. So fingers crossed he's right. But he will be in their best 22.
Yes,
that's the thing. It's just his scoring probably won't be huge. It's another sort of heartbeat sort of dude.
Yeah,
there. Connor O'Sullivan. He's.
I'm a big fan of Connor.
Oh yes,
Cats. They're keen on him as well.
Yeah,
270 you're paying for him.
So with him as well, obviously, he made the All-Australian team as a halfback, as a centre halfback, intercepting marks, yada, yada, yada. But he's also, earlier on in his junior career, dominated through the midfield, and he can go forward. Now, the Cats love, obviously, Blixarves.
Oh, yes.
And his flexibility. That's what they see here, a guy that can go anywhere for them, and he's training really well.
The other one I mentioned there, Dogs, your boy, Zach Reid.
Yeah, well, I put him in my team that I released the other day.
So 253K defender, former pick number 10, Roy, back in 2020. 21 years old now. He played 7 games for the Bombers 2 years back. Missed last year with injury. 7 games, though, shows that they're willing to give the guy a run.
First round draft pick, mate.
He is. So you would think at 250 odd, he's a chance to pop his, because he's training the house down, dog. Training the house down.
Another one I wouldn't sleep on at that 250 price range is Leakey, another Tassie boy.
Oh, yes.
He is absolutely killing it up at the Giants this preseason. Unfortunately, doing a lot of work with the midfield group, so he might be getting a little bit of mid-time. But he's actually, in all seriousness, he's in the mix. He's in play.
Yep.
And he's a Jet, and he's another one at that 250. So it might not be quite as thin as we're worried about.
So we're going to have to pay for it.
But we're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah, right.
A couple of others that are worth noting. Jacob Ryan played a game for the Pies last year, but he'd probably be pushing it uphill a little bit. Jed Buslinger, Narc Stevens. He loves a bit of Bulldogs watch. He was all hot on him. He's a 200K defender for the Bulldogs if he gets an opportunity.
Sounds big and strong.
Doesn't he ever?
It's not bad when you're having a look at some of these guys that have actually had a bit of a go at AFL level before. O'Sheen Mullen is another one.
Yes.
Miles.
The Cats. Miles was in our team,
wasn't he? He played 6 games last year. Yeah, not great.
No, he wasn't. But hey.
He's there.
We can, be looking at him. The other one I was looking at when I did the Hawthorn preview, Denver Granger Barras. I don't love it.
No.
If we need those heartbeats.
He's a heartbeat, but he needs a pacemaker. Yes. Unfortunately.
He does.
That's it. Now, if we want to have a quick look at what the punters are doing, and these are the most popular players, we've got Curtin is the most selected defender at the moment with 53%. Nick Daicos at 50% of teams.
Now, it's sliding. It has started to slide.
Has it?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because of that. People are becoming a little bit more knowledgeable now around this early buy.
Okay, so he's got the round 5 bye.
Yes.
Correct, I think.
Yeah, it's round 4. Yeah, and then the potential tag in round 4.
Yep.
Goodness me, this 52% of people that have him,
Okay.
it might not be that stupid. If Daicos comes out and has a ripping month, what's one trade
Yeah.
to flick him for that week if need be?
So he plays the Giants away in the opening round. Then he goes Sydney, St Kilda, Brisbane, Finn McGuinness bye.
St Kilda.
Yeah.
What did you say about that?
Yeah, 100%.
There's a 150 on your head.
So
300, and they've got him captain.
Because the thing is, we all will want him.
Yes, there you go. We all need him at some point.
That sounds like a tough draw, though, apart from St Kilda.
Yeah, and
inflates
so that
it
even
heavily.
the Brisbane is at the Gabba. Hawks are at home, and so are Sydney. So
There's only one problem with that.
what?
It's Daicos. He
I
doesn't
know.
care who he plays.
Just remember how he started last season.
Just annihilates everybody.
So what if
Except Finn.
Finn McGuinness isn't named in round 1? Because he would be going to the Bombers. He's playing against the Bombers, so he'd be going to Zach Merritt if he was. If he's not named, would that almost...
It will increase his ownership by 1%.
He's every chance to come in for that Collingwood game based on what happened last time.
That's true.
Oh, it's so tough.
It is a tough question.
It is.
I've
It is.
put a line through him, but...
Yeah. I had enough money
Every
for him the
chance.
other day.
Oh,
And I flirted with the idea.
of course you did.
I thought, what a way to attack.
Yeah, it's
Go
good.
against the other smart players avoiding it.
38% of the comp has Zach Williams. I guess that's going to depend on a bit of a
course.
round 0 score for
Sure
me.
does. Yeah.
Hayden Young, lock. Toby Pink at the moment, I guess that's all right at 33%. Kitty Coleman, 27%. Where are your feelings on that?
It's
the
just-
round 2 bye hurts.
It does, because otherwise we would all have him.
Yeah, agree.
He would be one of the easiest picks to start the season based on the way he finished the year, his final series, and, of course, that grand final. 100 at half-time.
Yeah.
You can't forget that.
So he shares that second round bye with a Zach Williams, which is also a concern.
Moving along, we've got Jack Sinclair there. Are you okay with starting Jack Sinclair?
I am.
Yep.
But the way he finished the season,
So he's basically
astronomical.
priced at his 102 average.
Yeah.
Like,
He'll be
is
around
there
that
upside?
again. A couple of points maybe.
Second
Could
half
be.
of the year, he
Yeah.
went at over 110, I think. I've got that written down somewhere in a minute.
Yep. Oh, I'm not going to talk anyone out of it.
You got Wilson. You got Sick Dog Cow.
Yeah.
105
Woo!
average. He's priced at there. Second most expensive defender. 21% of coaches are doing it.
And I'm not going to talk him out of it because he's got Essendon in round 1 and smacks them. He has 150 on that.
Yeah.
Check Calvin's captains at a later date. I'll tell you now, Roy. In fact, Sick Dog Roy, in the first 9 weeks, has one difficult game on the scale.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
He really deserves his hat in the ring there.
He
doesn't
sure does.
That's that I was thinking about. 108 in the last 14 games, Jack Sinclair. So
Big stretch of data.
Wow.
Tom Stewart's there at 17%. Nick Caulfield, is he going to play for the Bulldogs? We need to get some sources onto that, I
think
reckon.
he is, but
at
we will.
358K.
he's much better than that, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's significant coin difference from a Zach
So
Williams
basically,
too, isn't it?
priced
Yeah.
at about 40. What can he turn that into? 60, 65?
Yep. Yep. Without a doubt.
A minimum upside.
If he's playing, then that's a dead set no-brainer.
Because the thing is, that's not ever going to be job security issues either. If he's in at the start, I think he's just well and truly stuck within that 22.
I think so.
Other players with some value here. Harry Sheasel, 15% own. Wanganeen-Milera. So he's at price at his 91. He's been selected by 12% of coaches. Not talking anyone out of it, but are you jumping at it?
Not jumping at it. It is tempting.
Yep.
But, gosh,
Can you see him being worse?
no.
No.
No. Like, worst case scenario, surely he stays where he is.
I would
I
think
think
so.
he improves.
Then getting in the under 10% ownerships. Heath Chapman, the Freo Docker. There.
Right. Chappie's an interesting one because his name has popped up a lot. Priced at 55. Injuries obviously kept him out.
Yeah.
He's a lot better than that.
He is. And if Young is moving up, there is a position there for him to fill. Under 500K, it's a watch. It's a watch.
Yoey's got 9% ownership.
That would
8% is Marcus Windhager.
That's all right as well.
Yeah, I like it.
The thing with Windy, we saw a couple of times last year where he did play that halfback role and he took marks. He showed potential to get to 100, but he stopped a couple of times, didn't he? But the scoring was definitely there, but I can't see a world where he gets that halfback role this year when they're full strength. Obviously, he can score as well when he's through the midfield. I think he is a value pick.
He is. So Windy entering the third year of his career, dog, priced at 63. 3 substitute, 3 vests before his buy. After his buy, he went at 78.
That's more like it.
So that's about where he could be, priced at a 63. He could be an 80.
Anyone with a Bulldog six-pack on their guts can go over 80.
Right, they can.
Now, you can check out the ownership figures of players by hitting up the Stats Centre. If you've got Fancy Coach subscription, go and grab that and you'll be able to see what the punters are doing. But one of the things I reckon in the back line, you might be able to find some players that could be pods.
Yeah.
Could have a little bit of the lower ownerships. Like there's some players down there under 5% ownership that might be worth having a little sneaky look at. Now, if it wasn't for his round 2 buy, 3 buy. Jeez, I've got to remember these. Lockie Whitfield would probably be in my team, I reckon.
Yeah. I like Lockie. I like Lockie every year.
Yep. He's a gun. And
he is. So what's his ownership?
What to say, 3%.
Yeah, see, he's just someone with that buy you could just never justify starting with, could you?
No.
But, gun player.
For our Defender episode, we better get a Defender on. So we've got Alex Witherden from the West Coast Eagles. G'day, Witho.
G'day, lads. Thanks for having me.
Well, mate, you are actually on our radar as a selection this year. Do you reckon we should be picking you?
No. No, I don't.
That's not good. We don't want to hear that. Now, I'm looking here. You're priced at an average of 78. Shannon Hearn's gone.
Yep.
Surely that means you got to get some more kick-ins, doesn't it?
Yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping the ball's not down our end as much as it was last year. And I hope there's not as many kick-in opportunities as last year. But yeah, I think we'll have a number of guys potentially take them. It depends whether Harley Reid floats down there. And we'll just wait and see. But no doubt I will be taking a couple.
So you mentioned Harley Reid floating down there. We've penciled him into that sort of role as well. We hear he's been going really well. What can you tell us about Reid?
Yeah, he has. He's been playing really well. I think he obviously had high expectations coming into the footy club, but he's met all of them, and he's been super impressive in his first couple of months at the footy club. He's been playing a little bit midfield, halfback. I think originally maybe he was going to play a little bit more halfback, but then he's just gone into the midfield and he's just dominated, and he's so hard around the ball and so good at winning clearances. So yeah, we're very lucky to have him, and it'll be up to the coaches where he ends up, because he can have a real impact in the midfield. He's pretty handy down back, and then when he goes forward, he always manages to hit the scoreboard. So I think it's a bit of a wait and see, but I think wherever he plays, he can have a big impact.
Wow. He's going to be a gun. I think we just have to have him. There's no doubt of us picking him as a mid-forward at 300K, but we are talking about defenders. What about Duggan? Because he's looking like an option for us. I think he's under Roy's blanket for his rolling 22 that he's piecing together. But what's his role going to look like? Is he going to be a bit in the midfield? Is he going to spend some time back as well?
Yeah, it looks like he'll spend a bit of time in the midfield this year. I think he did that late last year and did it with really good effect. From a fantasy perspective, when he went into the midfield, he was still able to score really big as well. So I know a few of the boys had him in their team last year. But yeah, I think the door's open for him because he is so good down back. But he's trained as a midfielder for most of the pre-season. So he's another one that might have a bit of a dual role. I know players with dual roles are really handy from an on-field perspective, but also from a fantasy perspective.
Now, Witho, you know I'm a massive Elliot Yeo fan. Love the man. Now, how's he tracking at the moment? Because he's very cheap again this year.
Yeah. Well, he's had a tremendous pre-season. Elliot didn't really have an off-season. He went away for maybe a week and then came straight into the club and got to work with our high performance staff.
Good boy.
With the strength and conditioning coach and did his own like mini pre-season before pre-season. He's come back super fit, super strong. So yeah, we just hope that his body can sort of endure the full season.
Interesting.
But he's done a mountain of work and at training. Like obviously it's only what is it now, Feb, but
yep.
He's ticked every box and he's been absolutely flying. He's probably our best mid. Up there with Tim Kelly as our best mid when he's fit and firing. So hopefully he gets a clean run at it.
Unbelievable. Now
Calvin hasn't liked me picking him either, and I'm loving it. I think that is
I like to be a well-researched coach, Witho. Now, where did he go for his 1 week off? I need to know that.
I think he went to Bali.
I'll tick that off. Who did he go with?
Right, now we're looking at some of our cheap cash cows, and a name that has really popped up for us, and based on some of those numbers as well in the juniors, is Clay Hall. And we see his name popping up on some of those training reports. Is he burning the track up? House down? Whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
On fire.
Yeah. He is. And that I don't want to, at the risk of sounding repetitive, the names you've sort of all mentioned are probably the guys that have been, putting their name up in lights and training the most. And he is another one that has come in and had an impact straight away. And I'm obviously not the coach and don't pick the team, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's around the mark early on within the season. If it's not round one, I won't be surprised if it's not too far after. He's been super impressive, super tough. And I think he's one of our best runners at the footy club as well.
Nice. We'll definitely be watching him. Now, you've got coming up your draft in March. You'll do that after the Pracky game, so you've got a little bit of intel. How's everything looking for that? Are you going into this season confident as a fantasy coach, Witho?
I am. I got shafted by a few dodgy trades last year, so having been the 2022 fantasy champion at the footy club going into 2023. I finished on top during the regular season, and then Jake Waterman and Harry Edwards was out, and they did some shifty trades, and Jake ended up being.
See, how does that go down? Unbelievable. Are you the commissioner?
Yeah. Nah, we don't have a commissioner, so that's the problem.
All right.
It didn't go down too well, but they accused me of taking advantage of someone a few weeks earlier because I got a pretty good trade.
No. You guys need Warn Dog to commission.
That was an opportunistic trade, someone that was desperate for a ruck, so a little bit different. But, so then missed out on playing in the big dance, and I think Jack Petruccelli got across the line last year, so out for redemption. And, the draft's after all the Pracky games, so probably early March.
Very exciting. We're all looking forward to our draft season. It is coming up around the corner.
I'm glad this sort of controversy happens in other people's leagues as well.
Yes.
We've got Armitage Gate in ours from about a decade ago. Destroy.
I'm like Waterman.
You are.
Filthy.
Shocking. Now, you're off to training. Is it going to be warm for you today, or have you had any warm days over there in the west?
We did. Today's actually not too bad. It's 30 degrees, so it's beautiful. But last Friday we had 41-degree day, and it was 80 minutes of match play, so that was pretty challenging for the boys. And then last Wednesday we had training, and it was also 40 degrees, so it was a bit of a heat wave. So, hopefully that makes today just feel a little bit easier.
Any warm days coming up this week?
Yeah, Friday again when we have, I think, full sort of intra-club, 100 minutes or whatever. That's also 40 degrees.
Oh, boy.
So,
as the coach of
we might we might be campaigning for a night training or something, I think.
Well, you know what I'd be doing? When I was coach of the old Launcestonian Reserves, that would be a hydration session. We would actually be off to the pub if it was like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll be able to quite get that across the line, but I like where your head's at.
Well, get Waterman onto it, mate. He might be able to get it through.
Well, Witho, thanks very much for joining us, mate. Good luck with your fantasy season coming up. And, well, you say not to pick you, but you're definitely well on our radar for selecting this year because, hopefully the ball isn't down there too much, but if it does try to get down there, you're the man that can take some marks for us.
Absolutely, gents. All right, great to chat to you.
The draft sound effect. We're going to turn our attention a little bit to draft now, boys. And I guess a good way to look at this, we've got draft rankings. We've created some ultimate draft rankings. I reckon that probably can't be any better.
They're spot on every year.
I reckon I could that's gone to print, essentially, for that. So, we might tweak a few as we go. That's what draft rankings are all about because they should be agile.
Well, that's
malleable.
Yes.
Yep. But what isn't agile and what isn't malleable is expertness. Destroy.
Okay.
Yes.
You never get things wrong. That's what you tell us anyway.
Right.
Really.
So let's have a look at your top six. The Rollin 22, the top six defenders that you are putting them out of the line and saying this is exactly what it should be and what it looks like.
I should get nervous about it. But that's the beauty.
So in order,
just being right.
You are ranking the top six defenders for season 2024.
I am. And like you've been saying, it's no longer slim pickings. There's points back there.
Yeah, there is.
Backlines have been embraced for the first time in a long time, and it's a good thing. Now, number one is obvious. It's just an absolute layup of Nick Daicos. So that guy, we know what he is. He's an absolute jet, and he's only getting better all the time. So he's number one, hands down. Number two was tough, but it has gone to Jack Sinclair based on that average I was talking about a while back, and I just think he is solid as a rock, and I don't think much changes for him. It doesn't matter too much when he goes through the midfield. Obviously, we know what he does, mopping up across half-back. So that 108 average in 14 games to finish the year even feels like you've got a tiny bit of meat on the bone.
You do.
Okay. Sick dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gosh.
You just have to.
You do, don't
Yes.
You ride the highs with the lows.
Yes. And those highs, right, if you take his top five scores for the year, they averaged 143. So,
He's
he wins
the
your
week
games.
winner. He wins you the league
his
matchup
own
that
back.
week. Yeah.
Obviously, there's a bit of stink to go with it to bring his average back down, but he could improve his average this year.
Yeah.
So he goes number 3. Now, number 4, some people are saying I've got too excited about the finish to last year, but remember, I'm always right. Nick Newman has come in at number 4. Now, 8 games is enough data to see that something changed.
Okay.
115 he averaged in that time, and you could see how much they were pumping the ball through him.
Doc's out of there.
Doc's out of there. Obviously, Z-Will's going to be back through there, but Newman is still going to be the number one man because everything calms down when it's in his hands.
Agree.
Okay?
Yep.
Tom Stewart is next, which feels low, and I totally understand you sitting back there saying, you imbecile. But just remember...
Stewart ahead of Newman.
Yeah, you would. And what stretch of 8 games has Stewart ever averaged 115?
Yeah.
I did the data on it. Never.
Okay.
Really?
There you go.
Did you really do the data?
No. Did a quick calculation in my head. Number 6 is the Shees is coming in at number 6. Now, this is unbelievably disrespectful because some of the names I have left out.
I was going to say.
Well, I never said it's an easy job.
Dare I say blanket?
There's a bloody blanket, all right, dog.
There's a lot of dudes under it.
And it's covering a couple of those guys in there.
Okay.
A double
So she's in at number
blanket.
6.
Yeah.
Who's under the blanket?
Well, poor old Luke Ryan.
Oh, he went at 99.
99.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't forget that one of my criteria is if you single-handed cost me a hat a few years ago, you're up against it. But Ryan, that's disrespectful. He basically averaged 100, and his ceiling is as good as anyone in the game as well. Duggan
he's
looks
unlucky,
great.
I reckon.
Yep, you should hear him out there banging on the door. I can't get any sleep. He's just bang, bang constantly. If Shorty gets his half-back role, he's going to push triple figures as well. We've got Wanganeen-Milera, who I think can put another 5 or 6 points on his average last year as well. So they're the main guys.
Whitfield?
Under the blankie. No, Whitfield's got his own little blanket, little quilt just
Youngie?
next to those boys. Youngie's in the quilt.
So I reckon there, Roy, you've got about 8 potential players that could average over 100.
Yes.
Rolling 22 back 6
Yeah,
is changing.
it is. That's why I feel like there was I don't know, what have we been playing, 20 years? There was a year, probably 10 years ago, we were like, no, let's load our backline with, pay up for a good solid backline. But no, they didn't have the scoring punch.
Yeah.
I remember it was nice and solid back there. Didn't have to worry about it, but we were missing points.
Yep.
This year, I feel like we could probably spend back there and not miss out on too many points because, people like Daicos, they hit 150s. Sinclair's huge. Sicily hits 150s.
160.
Newman. They're all guys that can go huge.
So if we're thinking draft then, what we're saying with our first pick or two in defence, it's not going to burn you.
No.
Because you've probably got a pretty small range. Daicos excluded,
yes,
I guess.
yeah.
When do you go on Daicos in a draft?
First round, easily.
Yeah, I agree.
It's, on our draft kit, mock draft, I think, did
He
he
went
go
high.
2?
Yeah. Super high.
Super high.
I wouldn't have quite gone that high.
Okay.
It left a good ruck on the table for me at
But
3.
could he could be 10 points better.
Yeah. Without
Like
a
Sinclair
doubt.
could do the same at his 102.
Yep.
And Daicos could go at 112.
Yep.
Daicos was going like 113 before he met Finn.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, he can.
So I think there is that little bit of a gap between him. Like he's in a tier of his own as such.
Third-year breakout, Roy.
Yeah. Probably put 20 points
Well,
on.
why can't he be better? Of course he can be better.
Of course he can be better.
Jeez, bumpy,
It's unbelievable.
More Finns in the world.
Yeah, good luck to him.
I know, that's the thing.
Good luck to him.
That's the thing. He's been, doing a fair bit this off-season too. He's only going to get better.
Yep.
Now, draft is all about probably finding that value. Have we got some guys that we call sleepers? So these guys might be ones that, based on last year's average, therefore are ranked further down the initial list, that you're bumping up, that you think you might be able to get as a bit of value, or someone that you think is just going to improve. We get stuck in the world a little bit of going, they've been there before, so I think they're going to be better again.
Yes.
But
I'm a sucker for that.
who have we got? Who wants to throw a name out there?
I'll chuck one out. And classic relevant as well is my boy Mitch Hinge. Okay.
Yeah.
He's got an average of 75 next to his name. Went at 91 after his bye.
Yeah.
Now, if he can keep that up, he's easy 15, 16 points unders there. So he can be bumped up.
Yep, no, I agree. I'm a big fan of what he does. There's a couple that I really like. Obviously, we've mentioned a couple of them, Coleman and Yeo.
Yeah, so he's 62nd on the list of defenders.
Beyond a joke, isn't it? So
He makes top 20 easily.
yes, yeah.
Easily.
So goodness me, if you can pick him up as a bit of a slider, you're going to be absolutely laughing. That changes your whole team.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I will probably throw out maybe Windhager. I like what he's doing. He's priced at 60 essentially, or that's his classic. And when you're thinking about what he might be able to do, he was the 83rd best defender, and so that's based off his 63 average. So
63. It's
63,
way too low.
that goes to 80, I think.
Yeah.
And so then that puts him right up in that mix of those top, easily top 30.
Yep.
So he's a long way down the list for
there's a
what that
few
could
there.
be. But again, you talk about a bit of a blanket. There's a lot of guys there. It's going to be picking those little ones that have got that little jump. Anyone else?
We'll throw Witho in there.
Yeah, Witho.
Got to.
Someone, after an interview I saw the other day where, forgotten man, we had him in our team years ago, and he showed potential to score, but Connor Butterick.
Yeah.
Look, if that is true, so he's said to Dimmer, I see myself basically as with half a brain wouldn't say this, a half back. But Dimmer agreed, and if he is penciling him in for a Basher Hooley, Jaden Short type half back role, imagine if he's that guy.
So he played 2 games last year. He does have a 74 next to his name.
Because I think he hit 88 in his in the last game of the season. So some people don't just look at average. They'll also look at the 2 games and go, oh, who the hell is that guy?
Yep.
And pass him up.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be more like 22, 23 games.
Yep.
And a pretty impressive average.
Agree.
You can get your draft league sorted now, fantasy.afl.com.au. Go and just create a new league. Get it all happening. Lots of different settings that you can have there. Customisation of plenty, especially for defenders. You can add a little bit to them if you wanted to add some different scoring, like spoil.
Yeah. Punch. I like that.
Very cool.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy Official.
Grabbing some questions from social. That's almost redundant, that little intro there, because it's X. And we are hitting up our other platforms, Facebook and also Instagram. We'll have stuff going through.
I'm going to come up with a new song that incorporates all of them together for you, Warren.
I just think people would be really disappointed if that gets the chop, though.
Yeah, probably.
I'll remix it.
Might just need some different audio over the top, some vocals on there.
Yeah.
To go. Hit the boys up on Instagram, Facebook, X, and Cow's OnlyFans.
And then still do the twiddly diddly. It releases positive endorphins.
Doesn't
for
it?
people.
I love it.
I might get my question on.
Yeah,
anyway, let's have a look here. First one here from John. Since you've been gone, does Jaden Short become the main distributor of halfback again for Richmond? So he's probably a little bit of a forgotten dude.
He is.
And they've got an early bye, so that's been probably part of the reason for that with us thinking. But, yeah, is he in the mix?
He was. He was under the actual blanket, not the quilt. Yes. Yeah.
So I think that can be what his role is.
I think so. Yeah. Yep. But gosh, we really do need. We're at a point now where we do need to see some
actual
games.
evidence.
Yeah,
we're getting closer.
Yeah, we are
getting close. They've actually got one coming up sooner rather than later.
Do they?
Actually, Sunday week.
Oh, yep. Well, I'm very interested to see it because, yes, I think he could be that man again.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Jordan Clark, Cow? Yes.
Hey,
he's in.
2% ownership, and it's about to skyrocket, Roy.
Well, let's see. Actually, that will be interesting because there's been a couple of players that were in the unique basket that I've mentioned and Warnie mentioned, and it caused quite a significant spike in their ownership.
Yeah.
You have talked up Jordan Clark today.
I can't see that one
feel it may
No, because it's coming from Cow.
It was Schmooky who got me interested.
Yeah.
And he started talking a big game about JC, I call it now.
Let's see your pulling power.
Well, get around it.
Can you get it to 3?
He will average 90
I'm
plus
tipping
this year.
no. Oh, that'll spite him.
Make it 110.
Damien wants to know, Heath Chapman or Zach Williams? What will they both average?
Me.
All right. I think I have more faith in Williams averaging more, but this is the bye.
There he is.
And there is a lot more probably risk in body.
There is.
A lot more risk in body.
And
but then again, Heath Chapman hasn't
hasn't had a clean run himself, has he? You feel like when you factor in age and everything like that, Chappie would be the way to go. But you know what I'm like? Taking out the Blues aspect of it, Zach Williams is a name.
Yep.
He's on a lot of coin because at his best, he's an absolute jet.
Yep.
I'm backing that.
50K difference between the two. They'll have their opportunity to shine early, so you'll be able to jump on one over the other.
I think Carlton are going to have a really good year too, where they play with a bit more swag this year.
Okay.
And I think that means a little bit more ball in hand, uncontested stuff, and Zach would love that.
Jake's got this one off X. Elliot Yeo or Kitty Coleman, who has the round 2 bye? Jeez. Well, Coleman's not in my team and Elliot Yeo is.
Same. Which
the basic price
they are the same price.
My God, that should be Coleman.
It's
every day of the week. But
me and Yeo and I have history. We all know that, right? But it's Yeo. The answer is Yeo there.
It is.
And I apologise to everyone for saying that.
Can Yowie score 100 in a half?
Oh, no. No way.
No.
What did he score in the second half?
Yeah, about a 30.
20 something.
See, was it?
That's Yeo areas. We all know. If you've got Yeo in your team...
nearly have 100 when he played full back at halftime?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, that's true. I think he may have, yeah.
If you've got Yeo in your team, just be prepared to what happened last year.
So Ed asked this one then, Cow. Is there any way picking Yeo doesn't work out?
Wind back the clock. Wind back the clock.
Yes.
Yes, mate. Last year.
So many ways.
He had to... Teams were restructured last year with a week to go, a few days to go before the final lockout. It's yes, mate. Things can go badly very quickly.
There may even be a release of a new Pokemon game.
Yes,
that could even cost
out he
you a
goes,
week.
running around the city.
Unbelievable.
Got to catch them all. Got to catch them all. Yeah.
Yeah, no, a lot of ways Yowie could turn bad, but there's a lot of ways it could be good.
Jacob Cheeseman, 1 for Warnie. With the Bombers bulking up tall defenders, can we see players like Ridley and Redman unleashed? Guess they've sort of already been unleashed a bit. There'll probably be less of them having to do the key jobs.
You had me at Bombers bulking up. There's questions going to be asked again. How are they bulking up?
Yes.
My issue with that is, yes, they can, but because there's two of them that are very good at what they do, like you see Redman push further up the ground. Like you see him unload those big bombs from outside 50.
I'm nodding, but I wouldn't know if I saw him do it. I've got no idea what Redman looks like.
You need to watch some more Bombers this year, I reckon.
I do. Is he good, Redman?
Yeah.
I see his name and his numbers. Yeah.
He's good.
But Ridley's at
I
80.
thought Ridley was Redman.
No,
Hang on a second.
No, the Riddler. The
Riddler's
Riddler's
85s.
Well, Riddler's been, 81, 76 and 80 in his last three.
Have they ever been on the ground at the same time?
No.
Exactly.
Right.
Mason Ridley.
Lutfi. What do the traders think of O'Sheen Mullen off half back at a rookie price? Well, we've got to consider every player under 300k. I do remember some of his numbers were good, and this is going way off the top of my head here, in the VFL before he got his debut.
We were confident.
We were confident in the Irishman.
Yeah.
Well, we were confident in him making us some cash, weren't we? That didn't happen, did it?
Yeah.
No, but you're right, Dog. If he's given that role, if that ends up happening,
Lutfi,
he can score.
I'd pick him over Pink.
Oh, who wouldn't?
Lutfi. Who else?
He's 245k.
If he's named,
245k.
it looks like staying in.
He played 6 games last year.
Yeah.
I'm tipping a lot of vests in that as well, Roy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was...
Not a lot of luck.
No, he had no luck.
Tim over on Facebook. Sinclair and Nasiah, Wanganeen-Milera are wait and see as defender premiums given the recruiting of Liam Henry and also Windhager potentially being at halfback as well. Are they players to fade? So Sinclair and Wanganeen-Milera.
That might be enough justification. If you're umming and ahhing over Wanganeen-Milera, I think that's enough justification to shop elsewhere. I feel like Sinclair has done enough now to just be considered a solid rock.
And in any position.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where he plays, he still gets it done.
He's just a really good player now.
Yeah.
So I reckon, yes, if you're umming and ahhing, fade Wanganeen, stick with him.
From Facebook, Jono has this question. If you're focused on league wins and not hats or a car, does it make it more acceptable to start with early buy players like Nick Daicos, Sam Walsh, if you're looking in the midfield and so on?
100%. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in your league might actually be playing for hats and cars and avoiding those kind of players.
I'll tell you what, avoiding them might not end up being the right thing anyway, because there's so many good picks that we are just avoiding. So, to wait and see. But if I was playing purely for league wins, yes, I would ignore the buys a little bit more and pick some of those guys that are just...
Walsh, your Kitty Coleman,
Tom Green, they'd all be starting in my team.
Yep, definitely.
Joe has this one. Connor Boderick has a point of difference. Roy?
Yeah. Look, have a look. And we do get a free look at him as well. He could change a lot of things. So I've talked about him as a bit of a draft sleeper. But if he came out and went bang early in that role that we're talking about, through the preseason and then round 0, it would make for some very interesting choices.
You get a look.
He's a good player.
You get a look.
On the Instagram story, Stephen has this one. Which Geelong defender benefits from Stewart as a midfielder if this does happen? I just don't think it's going to happen.
No.
I don't think it's going to happen either.
I don't think so. But I will not be surprised if I see games with 25% CBA.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, and I heard, who was it? Who's their assistant coach? Is it Kelly?
Yep. Maybe.
Yeah.
He's one of them. He played there.
Yeah. I heard him talking about the sheer size of the man
Yeah.
and how hard he goes at the ball. Like, he's a clearance king and he's never in there.
Yep.
So just going in there to get it moving forward before rolling back, if he's hitting those 25%, it's going to be awesome. And I think he will from time to time. I don't think there's going to be anyone... I don't think it's going to be a role significant enough for anyone else to benefit.
Agree.
Stewart or Young? If you're only picking one of them, it's Young for me.
I would say so, yes.
I'm a bit torn on that.
Yeah. Stewart costs you a bit more. Like, that's an issue.
I'll hide behind that then.
But
The safety of Stewart is a thing.
Look, yeah, I don't think they're going to be that far apart in their scoring. Maybe Stewart with an extra couple of points a game.
Stewart's easy draw. Are they trying to set the Cats up to be back on
They
top?
stunk last year, mate.
Yeah, true.
So
Set
they get
them
the easy
up
draw
nicely.
this year. Yep.
Alfie replied to the story with this one. Nasiah or Keidean?
Wow. Huge amount of coin.
Big
Yeah, it
coins.
is, yeah.
No buy.
Who's averaging more?
Oh, Nasiah
Nasiah.
by 15.
Oh, 15.
15. Nasiah goes
15!
Nasiah goes 95 plus.
And what, you think Coleman's only 80?
Only 80, yep.
Okay.
Low 80s.
What do you think Coleman can average?
I think Coleman can be mid-80s. And I think Wanganeen-Milera low 90s.
So
I
what
wouldn't mind that 15-point line with you.
I think he can push
There's that
that.
much difference between them?
He'll be
but
close.
the more we talk about that and think about it, because I think your unders with Nasiah, but I think your unders with Coleman.
Okay.
Coleman needs to be picked. This is
Yeah.
a big problem here.
It would, like, this is the thing. In a normal season,
Yes.
we would be picking him.
It'd be an easy pick.
So are we eyeing him off potentially? Like, that's where we can hide with Yeo.
Yeah, yeah.
Once Coleman comes off his bye, if Yeo has been subpar
Yeah.
or injury riddled, that's an easy fix.
I think you can have either Zach Williams or Coleman. I think you can only have one.
Given they've got the same
Bye.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. So what's the pick there? It's Nasiah for me because he has no bye. I'll say that.
Yep, let's do that.
And that is such a big part of it, isn't it?
Look,
think
and the
so.
thing needs to be said,
Round two as
this
well.
might be wrong.
Yeah.
All this avoiding the early buy stuff we've talked about might be wrong. We've never had to deal with
I
this.
think
before.
I would pick Coleman, though, if he had the round 5 or 6 bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
At that
That's
price,
the
I think.
difference.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No.
It's just too early.
It's just you want... The other side of it, though, how confident can you be on those rookies that are playing that week for the best 18 that they would be...
Yep.
There's going to be a couple that pop up with smoke and hot scores. And
Oh,
our
yeah.
confidence is going to be high.
And then they'll give us nothing.
Yes.
That's how it probably works.
That's how they were. That's how they go.
What if you were choosing between Hayden Young and Sheasel? There's $1 difference there too.
It's Young. You have to go Young on that one.
Yeah.
The Sheasel
Sheasel's just
roll-
got too much
Yep.
question marks for me. And I know Roy's hot.
I mean, I've got them both because I can't split that. I think
Yep.
they've both got upside.
Okay. But I'm Young.
Don't worry. I'm listening to what you're telling me with Sheasel, though, Dog. I am taking it all on board, and I am going to be keeping an extra close eye on him, and I may even have to be forced to talk to sources about it.
Yep.
For Samuel here, should Dan Curtin be on our field? I just don't think we want him on field. It's a tough
That's
one.
fair. I don't think so either. Do you know another reason? Because earlier on, it was a good question once again where you said, you are quite bullish about his scoring. Would you start him on field? And the reason I'm such a strong no is because I have a lot of faith in some of the rookies scoring in other positions.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's why I think I don't want any defender rookies this year
Yep.
because I think we've been gifted with a batch of
You're
guys
at least
that are
having 3
ready-made.
in the midfield.
Yes,
and
minimum.
You've potentially got 2 to 3
Yes.
rookie price-ish players
Yeah.
in the forward line.
Yeah,
So Curtin averaged 80 with the Waffle Colts.
yeah.
The Colts. 6 games.
Not real stats.
No. Well, I just don't think I don't think he'll be pushing 50s in some games. He'll be really low.
You know, players that if he is in the back line though, players at AFL level give him easier possessions and probably
Yeah, okay.
people shanking them to him in the Colts.
Yeah, I hear you. All right.
Interesting.
But not on field. I don't think so.
Daniel wants to know here from the Insta stories, Paddy Parnell is a point of difference.
Paddy Parnell.
I do like Paddy. Yeah.
You love
Looked
Paddy.
like he was 12 years old.
Took a hanger.
Paddy Parnell. Where do I even find his score here, dog? Scroll down. There he is. 367.
He's been to. I've seen his name
As a
pop up in
defender.
training reports.
5 games last year, 11 the year before.
Yeah.
Watch the match sim game.
So what's he priced at an average of what?
He's priced an average of 41.
Yeah. So he's going to put 20 points on it if he's
there.
in the 22.
Yep.
Because he's a good little player.
You're right. Good little player. You're spot on, Roy.
Can take a hanger.
Steve-O's got this one. How many premiums should I have? A couple. 2 to 3. I think that's where we probably are loading up a bit more in defence now than what we might have been before, because the forward line might be the lightest position for dollars.
Yes. 100% it can be.
Would you consider those premiums you're buying as keepers?
Yes. Young. Is Young a keeper? Yes.
What is a keeper?
Well, Young's a keeper.
Oh, right.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope he can be a keeper.
I think he can be a keeper.
Considering it's still February, keeper is the bloke that stands behind the stumps. Anyway, we are at the end of our Defenders episode of the podcast. Make sure you check out all the content at afl.com.au. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, get amongst it, because it is there's lots of stuff coming this preseason. This position, whatever you call it, series.
Series.
It's a cracker.
Bold Warnie.
All right. Thanks, team.